our approach is usually, especially with off-grid, to try and do something that kind of talks to gamers who haven't experienced those things rather than preach to the choir, which is why to some extent the mechanics and the way that the game is designed won't necessarily be the most realistic hacking game or whatever else. It's sort of a layered introduction. So future games from Semaeopus wouldn't necessarily just tackle digital issues, but probably in-depth subject matter or more adult or cerebral subject matter in a similar way. So taking a complex subject and then trying to present it to an audience that doesn't necessarily have an interest in it, and picking out the things that work as a game mechanic and using that as the lure in. That's fundamental, really, isn't it? That's kind of our base approach to making the game. Is it should have interest to any audience member who's interested in good games and good game design and interesting subject matter within a video game, rather than because it's about privacy or surveillance. So I'm a big fan of Ralph Costa and kind of Costerian game design theory, which is this idea that every game is a learning process, and a game designer's job is essentially to set up challenges that give a player a learning trajectory, and along that trajectory they become masterful within the skill set that or the kind of vocabulary that the player is given. And then the next step for the designer to take the player on a good journey there is to disrupt that. So put in a new challenge or disrupt what the skill set that the player has mastered is. And so for us, I guess on off-grid, part of that is learning about data privacy and encryption and some of the politics around it as part of the mechanics. So not necessarily as a kind of traditional educational or edutainment sort of style of learning, but just because that's inherent in game design.
Well, the issues are, of course, very significant. And I think that's kind of my point. The way I see it, the biggest problem with data privacy is not how difficult the tools are, or people not knowing about the tools. It's people not knowing why they want to use the tools. And yeah, I think if you try to make a game and target it for people who are into data privacy, it wouldn't actually change anything. They already know why they need to use those tools. They know how to do it. So instead, just try to make a game and hoping that at least some part of the players start seeing the connection between what's happening in the game, what's happening in the real world, and can actually kind of experience themselves what it means when you don't have the data privacy, or what it means when you that all of those tools for spying on people exist. Yeah, I think games are kind of a good way for allowing people to experience things they probably wouldn't really want to experience in real life. And the best way of learning something is learning based on your mistakes and based on your own experiences. And I think games can kind of use that to not educate, but maybe like, I don't know, get people to figure out things on their own.